We'll call this special meeting of the Silver City Town Council to order. Please rise and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, I just started the meeting getting scolded for my gavel use. The first item on the agenda and the only item today is under new business. Item A, approval, disapproval of request for proposal number 1213-2P, community promotions. Can't hear it all. I just want to remind everybody that this is a request for proposals, and this is a process that is in the procurement code when the town needs to purchase any goods or services. The proposals have been submitted and sent over to the council for our consideration or award of the proposal, as are all the proposals that the town produces. The proposals have to stand on their own. The council will be able to ask any clarifying questions on the proposals, and it's really, really good to see all of you sitting out there. It'd be nice on the second, fourth Tuesdays at 6 p.m. if we had the same audience. So I wanted to share a few comments from the Lodgers Tax Advisory Board. They had prepared a few. All applicants must remember that we had less money to divvy up than last year. The $200,000 is down from $225,000, plus a few new applicants. Overall, the applications are getting more professional looking and giving us the information we need to make a decision. If there is a website, there should be an analytical report, such as Google Analytics, that clearly shows your traffic. Using strictly a narrative is suspect. Some applicants are using social media well, and others should be exploring how it can get their word out. We were disappointed to see few of the applicants connect their marketing to New Mexico True, the state tourism's marketing campaign now underway. And just a reminder that everybody, this is not an award that is intended to support any certain group, agency, company. The RFP is put out in an effort to market the town and increase our tourism and the heads and beds, which generate more lodgers tax. So the awards do not indicate our support or lack of for any particular project that's in there. It's a matter of whether we see the value and return on the investment for the purpose that is defined in the code for lodgers tax. And with that, we're going to go right down the list that we have in front of us on the proposals. And the first proposal is the Copper Country Cruisers. Are there any questions from the council on the Copper Country Cruisers proposal? Councilor Rose.
Are you looking at last year's reimbursements, or were you looking at that?
Oh, I'm looking at the wrong page. Either way, we can start with here. Copper Country Cruisers is fine. How about Southwest Festival of the Written Word is first on the right list. Anybody have any questions they need clarified on the Southwest Festival of the Written Word proposal? Anybody here from the Southwest Festival of the Written Word, you can come to the podium. Councilor Bedeston, you have the floor.
Thank you. Mr. Hester, so I understand that the WNMU is the major sponsor, correct? Of the.
Correct.
Okay. And sorry, I'm trying to make sure I'm at the right page so that I can ask the question. And you have, and you're also, in a way, working with MRAC, but they're your fiduciary agent?
They're a fiduciary agent, that's correct.
So, in doing so, they're requiring a 15% for being a fiduciary agent, is that correct? The moment I just wanted to clarify those 2 points.
Are they also doing any marketing for you?
No. We're separate organizations except in terms of the fiduciary responsibilities.
Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you, sir. The next one on the list is San Vicente Artists. Any questions for them? Counselor?
You're meeting me, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. May I speak with someone with San Vicente Artists? Is anyone here?
Anybody for San Vicente Artists? Okay, it's going to be hard to clarify.
Okay.
The next one on the list is the Rolling Stones. Questions on Rolling Stones?
No, sir.
How about the Silver City Gallery Association? Seeing none, the Grant County Chicano Music Project. Counselor?
Is there anybody here?
Yeah, I knew they would. Come on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, you list the town of Silver City as a sponsor for $1,000.
Yes.
So we have already contributed
Yes.
to the project? Is that financially, Mr. Brown, have we contributed as a promotions or? No?
Contributed to now, but there's no agreement for anything in the future.
But we're already listed as a sponsor for this event, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And if I understand the application correctly, it seems that you have the Southwest New Mexico Green Chamber is doing, providing advertising as a sponsor, is that correct?
We haven't really talked about exactly what they're going to do, but we are partnering with them.
Okay, that's actually taken directly from the application. It states that they are providing advertising
Oh, okay.
as part of what they're doing. You've had significant airtime already on 95.1
Yes,
and locally.
because that is one of our major sponsors.
Okay, and it seems that you have brochures and posters have already been created and already printed. So that's a cost that's already been borne and taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And do you have anything, any specifics with you per actual advertising costs that, as part of your budget?
I do not, because we were helped by the university a little bit in preparing those brochures and so on, and we really had not explored the costs until we had some kind of an answer from this body.
Okay, I guess the reason being is that's actually one of the things, promotion materials, making sure that, Logis Tax covers promotional materials going is having things sent out, brochures, posters, things like that, in outside locations and making them available. And so costs of advertising in other locations is really kind of what we're trying to look for.
Right,
At least-
right now, we have absolutely no budget for mailing, and so that would certainly be one thing that we would apply it for.
Okay, yeah, just, for me right now, looking at the way the budget was developed, it's hard to actually separate out what the largest tax funds could potentially be used for, because we have very specific constraints. And I think it's a very exciting project, but at the same time, if brochures and posters have already been developed and have already been printed, because we have a really nice one that was provided as part of the material, those costs have already been borne, and they
Right.
can't be,
Right, but that doesn't mean that we don't need to do more promotion, and outside of Silver City, and to bring, this is something that is a good thing for cultural tourism, and we would certainly want to be able to do something more than what we've done with those brochures.
correct. I'm just asking for
Sure.
clarification
Certainly.
on specifically the costs and where those actual markets will be, and how much those costs will be in the actual advertising that will go forward, which is what we seek to find in the budget. So,
Okay.
thank you.
Any other questions?
Could I?
I have a similar question to Around.
Yeah.
I just wanted to mention that we are actually partnering with them, and rather than advertising, what we're helping with is marketing. From our grassroots approach and our statewide connections, we basically are sending information out to organizations and media contacts that we already have. We're not actually spending money. So it's an in-kind cooperative situation. And I agree, right now, we've really been doing things locally, and then we'll be going out and actually going to the Office of Cultural Affairs. A lot of other linkages that we can make statewide. So there's actually no cost involved in working with our organization.
Thank you.
On the second item on your budget, you have car show trophies and T-shirts.
Yes.
And can you break out the $10,000 that you requested for, how much of that's for T-shirts?
I would say about, probably 3,000, because the T-shirts are also going to all the musicians who participated, and many of them are coming from elsewhere, and so we do want to give them something that says they were here.
And will any of those be resold?
Resold? Not those. We will have others for sale, but not those.
And the copying and packaging of DVD and CD.
Yes, that is the biggest worry that we have right now. The documentary is going to be quite nice, and we want to package it professionally so that it can be seen in other places besides Grant County. And so that is something that we certainly would want to cover.
And how much revenue do you expect to get in return for those?
Probably sell the DVDs for $20 and then CDs for $15. And then the proceeds would go for many of the proceeds would go for the next year's festival.
Is that the same 300 CDs that you already have?
No. That was a preliminary CD, just to get the public excited about it.
And how many of these are you going to produce?
The regular CD, probably 1,000 of them. And this CD is all Grant County music from the past and the present.
Thanks. And the printing of flyers, can you talk to me about the flyers? What's your plan?
Well, when we did the original, the ones that are already printed, we were trying to hurry up because the source of the funding was going to go away, and we wanted to get them done. And we really failed to put Silver City on them. And so what we would like to do is to print some different ones that actually say Silver City. We just assumed that people knew that Silver City was in Grant County, but then we realized, actually, when I was doing the request for proposals, that was a big blunder on our part.
And where are they going and how are they getting there?
Okay, well, we intend to mail them and send them to musicians who are in other areas. Our festival has received national attention, and we do intend to send them to California, Arizona, Colorado, and other places specifically, but those places.
You have security and cleanup at $5,000.
Mm-hmm.
Can you break that up into how much for each?
The cleanup will be relatively small because we will depend on university organizations to do that. But security, we anticipate a large number of people, and we do want to, the vendors would like to set up the night before, and so that's mainly what the security would be for. So you're looking at the project budget, right? Yeah.
It says original budget.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a second version?
No.
So it's the one and only?
Yes, that's the one and only.
Any other questions?
You covered the security one.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And next is the Rural Social Work Caucus. Any questions? You want? Come on up. You want to go or? You have the floor.
Let me just pull it out.
Sure.
So, Dr. Rickle, if I understand correctly, I guess in looking at this, I was, it appears that this is really a conference.
Yes, it is a conference. It's
Right.
a national conference.
So it's a national conference, but it's really not necessarily a tourism generator.
Well, the conference attendees and their family members that often come to the conference. So it would generate lodging tax dollars, yes.
So, in looking at you're asking for large tax funds for state NASW chapter newsletter ads
Yes.
for $4,000. So this would go to various state chapters.
Well, it varies. Some states have several chapters. Illinois, for example, there's a Chicago chapter, but then there's 2 or 3 downstate chapters. And those would be the ones I would target because they're more rural.
So if this is a national association, there isn't money to market the
No, it's a
national?
caucus. There are no membership dues. They provide no funds and very little help in putting the conference on. It's mainly me.
Part of the requirement of the use of large tax funds is that you have to truly generate tourism and heads and beds. So, I mean,
Yeah.
for someone...
Part of the reason that I scheduled it to end on a Friday is for that reason, that people that are invited to stay over and explore Silver City, Grant County. or to come before the conference. And when I'm at the 2013 conference in Millersville, Pennsylvania this summer, I'll be displaying a lot of tourist brochure kind of information.
Is the little green light on that microphone?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Right in the middle on the base.
No, it is now.
there you go.
We could hear you, but I don't...
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, sorry.
So is there a website where this conference will be listed and promoted?
Yes, the National Caucus, as soon as this year's conference is over, they will put up the information about next year's conference here in Silver City, and then I've also have pretty much done a website here at Western that'll link to that, which will display the information and prominently mention Silver City as a sponsor.
So I see the itemized expenses and, it's quite extensive, but the program income is not itemized very well. So can you perhaps give us a little more detail other than the inclusion of the $4,000 from lodger's tax about where that income might be generated from?
The primary income for the conference is the conference attendees. They pay a $200 fee to attend the conference. And so that's where the monies will come from. And half of that money goes to food, basically, during the conference. And I'm following the template of past conferences in this year's conference also. So, out of that money needs to come some funds for speakers, and that's primarily it, I guess. Speakers and the food and cost of the presentations in terms of handouts, things like that. The university is providing the space to hold the conference. I have at the time of the proposal, I didn't have a detailed budget, but I can provide you one if you want. I have a more detailed budget now. No, not with me.
I was going to ask that.
But I can email it if you'd like me to.
Any other questions?
Not right now.
Thank you, sir.
Alrighty, thanks.
The next up is Silver City Fiber Arts Fest. Questions for them? Anybody here from... Come on up.
Hello.
Hi. Can you speak your name just so...
I'm Lynn Welch, a member of the Southwest Women's Fiber Arts Collective that's sponsoring the festival, and I'm the festival chair.
Thank you. Are you partnering with any other, the Chamber of Commerce, the Silver City Arts and Culture District, Main Street?
We are working with them to get the word out on their calendar listings, the Arts and Cultural District, the chambers, the State Chamber. We are partnering with MRAC for a lecture the night before the festival starts on Thursday, November 14th. That is co-sponsored by Will, the university, MRAC, and us.
So other than adding the festival to their website, they're not providing any additional marketing?
No, not specific marketing. We're doing all of the marketing through our own organization. We're doing a lot of target marketing through emails directly to folks that would be interested in the Fiber Festival, businesses, organizations, as well as, we want to do the advertising to bring in folks from the region or further away, and that's where we would bring people in to stay in Silver City, in the motels, eat in the restaurants, and enjoy the area.
So you list Arizona, Colorado, Texas, California, Oregon, Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota, Pennsylvania, New York, Maine, Maryland, Alaska, and 3 from Canada
Right.
on last year's.
Right, 2 years ago, we do the festival every 2 years. We had people at the door welcoming our attendees and writing down their zip codes. So we did keep a tally of where people were from as they came into the festival.
So can you tell me if the marketing effort that you put out targeted any of these states, or were they targeting individuals?
They were targeting states. Our advertising, we had in Santa Fe, in Albuquerque, northern New Mexico. We had advertising in publications that went into southern Colorado, Arizona, West Texas, where people could easily drive, stay overnight, and attend the festival and see Silver City.
So do you happen to know how the people from the East Coast made it to our festival?
I think they were probably visiting family in Silver City. We did do a listing with the Maine Fiber Arts Collective in their newsletter. And so there could be people that traveled to the area, the few that were there.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Next is Fort Bayard Historic Preservation Society. Questions? Cecilia, come on up. The meeting wouldn't be complete without having you up here.
Thank you so much for once again having us at this meeting.
We're going to ask you some questions, I think.
I just got to find it.
It's in a green folder.
The green folder? Not that one.
While she looks for hers, your list of people that you're giving the tours to, and do you know how many of those you break them out from school groups to tourists?
Okay, now, our school groups come twice a year, on Fort Bayard Days on Friday, and then in May late April, we had a mini Fort Bayard Days for the Cliff Schools. All of the rest of the tours on Saturday, or private tours, are for people from Grant County, from New Mexico, Colorado, Texas, around the United States, and even from Germany that have called for private tours.
How do you think you attracted people from Germany?
I would say Germany has a great deal of love for the West and for Indians, and they can find it at Fort Bayard. There is that feeling of this is the Wild West, and it remains.
So you think...
On our website, we get lots of hits from Germany and from England.
And soon to be Asia.
Well,
So you think they're finding us more than we're
Right.
targeting them?
they are definitely finding us rather than us finding them. We haven't carried brochures over to Europe.
Want to? I'll go with you.
They don't fit in a suitcase.
I'll get a bigger suitcase. Sissy, did you want to come in?
Yes, I just wanted to mention that we have rack cards in the visitor center, and that we have a lot of folks that are coming through it. Definitely the Wild West, our connection with Billy the Kid. I think we all realize the wonderful asset that we have at Fort Baird, and we're hoping we can not only maintain that, but improve it. But the cards that we have, we really publicize to folks when they come in the door. If it's the week of one of those tours, we put those in their hands. We have people that stay because they want to get to go on those tours. They know otherwise it's a self-guided tour, and they won't get the real passionate information you get from a guide. So we're finding that Fort Baird, our extensive history from the members all the way up to present, we're a group that still have the Indian Wars. We have a history that we can talk about, and people are finding that of greater and greater interest.
One thing that we're finding now is that people are calling, wanting to participate in Fort Bear Days, rather than us reaching out to them. They want to know about it.
Councilor Besson?
The question is on your advertisement, since I couldn't find any included, it does have the Town of Silver City logo or
Yes.
paid part? Okay. Just wanted to make sure.
We are very definite to have that.
Okay, just because we do want to make sure that that's on the advertising and on the website, stuff like that. Okay, thank you.
So you referenced the thing that your website's getting hits from all over the world.
Right.
Are you, if it's in your contract that you produce the demographics off of the hits, you'll be able to do that?
Pat Bennett is our website person, and yes, she could do that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Just a quick question. I noticed that, sorry. It did say, excuse me, on here that there was a chart included about the web hits, but do you happen to have one with you?
No, I do not, but there was, in the packet that I turned in, there was all the advertisements, and there was a chart.
Unfortunately, not in the ones we received.
Okay, well, I turned them all. There was a separate packet that had all of the advertisements, and that's what she said would be okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Any questions on Silver City Farmers Market? Did I miss one?
Or no?
Any questions on the farmers market? Anybody from the farmers market want to come on up? Whoa. Any questions on the Gila Conservation Coalition's proposal? Councilor Bedison, anybody from the Gila Conservation Coalition? Well, your question's going to remain a mystery.
Well, the answer will.
Your question will too. The next one up, oh, we're back to Copper Country Cruisers. Any questions on their proposal? Seeing no questions, the next up is the Chamber of Commerce. Questions on the Chamber of Commerce proposal? Councilor Bedison. Anybody? Whoever wants to speak for them, come on up.
Mr. Trio.
Mayor Councilor Benson, thank you.
I have a question. The proposal, I'm trying to find it. It states that the website has a large number of hits, and I'm trying to find the exact figure. And it does state that that the analytics can be provided, but there are no analytics in the... do you happen to have any with you today, analytics, to show us the website analytics?
Mayor, Councilor Benson, I don't have any with me right now, but I'll tell you, one of the things that we learned in going through the website issue at the chamber is that, and I asked our webmaster to be here today with us, and he was unable to do that, but as far as demographics, we can provide that to you. Ken, is that right? And by the way, if you're wondering if we got a sale on shirts today, I have to tell you that the chamber board members are debuting for the first time, their new shirts. We couldn't figure out what to use them for, so we figured this would be a great time. So if you're wondering, there was a sale on Teal shirts. It's a chamber that went out and bought shirts.
So how about we have your board in their fancy, pretty new shirts stand up?
I think that'd be a great idea. But Ken, for this question, you want to come up and Mr. Cook, you want to come up also? The demographics as far as can be provided, is my understanding, right, Ken?
That's correct.
One of the things that we wanted to make sure with the website is that if we're going to have a website out there, we better find out what have a way to capture the data, analyze the data, see what is going on. We've learned from doing this that we are getting on the chamber website 20,000 hits a day. That's over 7 million hits a year that we're getting. We know that for a fact. In fact, and we'll provide you that, as a matter of fact. And we know that the 3 top hits that are getting hit on that are the hotels. When people jump on the chamber website, the first and the most hits that they get is the hotels in the area. Second is the bed and breakfast, and I lost track of the third one. I think it was activities or what's going on, yeah, in Silver City, Grand County.
And we'll work on getting you the data as soon as possible.
I apologize for not doing it. We should have had that, but that. If we have one thing that really we can hang our hat on is that website hits are tremendous when people all over. Now, we want to close the loop also, and when people are in Silver City, staying at our hotels and our bed and breakfast, is to do some sort of survey or market it with them to say, what brought you to Silver City? And if it's a website, then hopefully we can come to you next year and say, look, we did this. We know that because of the 7 million some odd hits that are taking place at the chamber website, as a result, this is what came to Silver City. Unfortunately, I can't do that today, but I think that's a goal that we certainly want to accomplish.
So I think has been asked before of other groups that, because the requirements there to provide analytics, you'll be able to do that.
Yes.
Rather, because...
Absolutely.
Just to add to that, we actually have a website a new website that we're developing, and we're trying to balance not losing those hits with creating this new website. I'm sorry to interrupt.
So it's a new web address?
No.
Oh, okay.
What we're going through right now, we've learned through this tool that we have that we certainly need some updates on that website. And so the challenge has been because of the number and we know the data of what people are looking for, what they want to do if and when they come to Grand County, Silver City, is that we don't want to lose those hits. We don't want to create something by an update that destroys the 20,000 hits a day that we're getting. Okay.
In a follow-up question to the website, since we're talking about the website and analytics, is the website itself, does it only showcase members in your organization?
Right now it does, right? That's my understanding that right now it does, yes.
Okay, so in terms of activities and events that are going on within the town and in Grant County, would only be those that are being held by those groups that are members of your organization?
Mayor, Councilor Bedison, I think it's my understanding that all activities, we have a cooperative partnership with a lot of groups that want to talk about their activities in Grant County, and we're not shy about doing that. I think that's certainly a purpose of the chamber, and so the activities is something that's my understanding that we're advertising anything and everything that's going on in this area. It benefits the chamber certainly by doing that.
Great. Thank you.
Tell me about the new events.
We're proceeding with 2 other events, and I think we're submitting the RFP. By the way, Mayor and Councilors, on behalf of the Chamber, we also want to take a minute to thank the Lodgers Tax Committee for their due diligence and all. I mean, this is a process that I don't know how this folks in that committee can really do the great job that they do, because it's not an easy process and for anybody to do it. So we certainly, on behalf of the Chamber, want to thank the committee for the process that they went through. The other 2 events that we're going to pursue, and by the way, we're meeting as a Chamber right now. We're meeting every Thursday as a board, every Thursday morning at 7:30. Anybody's welcome to attend if you so desire. And what we do is we're in the search for an executive director right now. We've got very close to hiring an executive director, but as a board right now, you got 11 board members. So I tell everybody we have 11 executive directors running the chamber right now, and we are looking at a balloon festival here. What's happened? We learned through the Albuquerque International Balloon Festival that there's a gentleman there that has been talking to our chamber already, and there's another gentleman in Socorro that has also been working with us. And what happens, you have the Albuquerque in October Balloon Festival, and then you have in Alamogordo another festival that occurs and middle of September. And then you have Sapporo that does one in Thanksgiving. So what's missing, obviously, if you look at that, is the western part of New Mexico. So with the assistance of those 2 gentlemen that have many, many years of experience in work with balloon festivals, we're going to go ahead and try bringing one. We're not going to try, we are going to bring something. In this morning's meeting that we had, we're even going to talking about including a kite festival along with the balloon festival that we're bringing. So Friday would be, and help me out, Fred, Friday would be the for the balloon festival. We would do what on Friday?
We do the sign-in on Friday, Saturday morning, the balloon.
Come on up, Trent. We got to make sure the microphones catch up.
This is Trent Petty. He's our board chair right now for the chamber.
And that's what you get for taking that position.
That'll teach me, won't it? Mr. Mayor, Council, yes, what the goal is, as they explained it to us, Mr. Edwards from Albuquerque and Mr. Shrum from Socorro, the way they explained it is what they would do is on Friday morning, they would have a couple of balloons take off that morning, and they would do it with the news media. And they'd put the news media out there to start getting things rolling. And then that afternoon, everyone else would come in and register. And then the next Saturday morning, they'd have a mass ascension. Saturday night, they would have a balloon glow. Then Sunday morning, they would have another mass ascension. And then probably a luncheon or something like that Sunday afternoon, and it'd be done.
So with the assistance of those folks, we have this idea that maybe the City of Rocks area would be a great place to do this balloon festival at. However, that's really not up to us as the organizers that we're working with told us, they have to come in and take a look at the area and the wind conditions and so forth. They got their own ideas, but that's where we're at with it. And
So, we used to have one.
yes, I remember that.
We set them up right in this parking lot. And then we flew off a Ridge Road on Saturday morning.
And we had it over there by, north of, Mr. Mayor, also north of Swan Street also was another launching area.
So how many balloons would you expect to attract?
That's a good question, Mr. Mayor. We're working with those organizers again. They say they can bring, I guess what my understanding of talking to those gentlemen is that there's a crew, a group of balloonists that travel to all these balloon festivals, and, the potential to bring a good number of them is there, so, it's not, we don't have a number that we could really report to you at this point.
So in your budget, you have an event promotions director, but you don't have a promotions budget other than staff. But you do down in the next event.
I'm going to ask Mr. Dan Cook from our assistant chair and vice chair to come up and... The next event is the one you're talking about, the mining and agricultural days. And let me just, while Mr. Cook is working his way up here, I'll tell you the idea that we're working on there is that long ago, again, there used to be a Labor Day, the mining days here in Grant County. We're going to bring that back as a chamber. But as you recall, for those that remember those days, we had a lot of activity during Labor Day with mining days there. Of course, we're going back to bring back the heritage of Grant County that we all know, we've talked about, we've referenced, and that's the 3 C's, copper, cattle, and our climate, and we're going to certainly be working around that theme in the mining and heritage agricultural days there. We're working with the various groups to try and do a major event down there at the golf park again to bring that event back to Grant County. So specific to your question.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. I don't know how many of you have been to the Balloon Festival, but I have, and there's many times, I've been there twice, and there probably both times I wish I'd stayed in the car to stay warm. Extremely brutal cold weather. I think we have a lot to offer as far as mild climate. I think it'd be very, very attractive to the balloonists and to the crowd. I think it's important that we bring that to Silver City. Addressing the promotions person, I mean, we'd really like to have somebody that's professional come in that's run a festival before. We realize that this is something that we could assume later on, but I think to really get us off the ground, excuse the pun, the important factor is to get somebody that's run a festival before, specifically Balloon Festival.
But how are you going to market it?
We're going to use every medium that we can to market this, that hopefully is reimbursable through lodger's tax money.
Was not in your budget.
No, I think that's just a slight oversight in the omission of that amount. We're looking at probably...
Mr. Mayor, let me just point out, we're like I pointed out before, we got 11 executive directors working right now. We all are folks that are meeting every Thursday to try getting all this chamber stuff well on its way, and it's really working real good. But we're going to make this happen, and if there's a promotion deal, our 2 persons that we're working with, I mean, they certainly are going to be our guidance on how we do that kind of stuff, and we're prepared to take on those challenges as best as we can.
So if you look at the expenses that we have under fuel expenditures, propane and gasoline, one thing is we could probably try to get sponsors to sponsor propane and gasoline for the balloonists and use that money in advertising. So that would be in the 7,000 range for promotional advertising.
And to that point, we already had a sponsor, a business come up and knowing that we're working on this idea, and they said he wants to be one of our major sponsors for that event. So that's, we're going to do...
Propane company?
The what?
Propane company would be a great sponsor, yeah.
No, we haven't, but, not yet, but, that's, might be an idea.
In case they're watching out there, now they know.
Just out of curiosity, from my own information, what is sound enforcement?
Sound reinforcement is sound equipment.
Okay.
Speakers, microphones, text.
Councilor Medicine.
So, let's step back for a minute to the Balloon Festival. Under your event expenditures, you also include balloon participants, and could you kind of elaborate on that?
Yeah, according to the folks that we're working with, there's, what the costs that are involved there is working with the balloon participants to be able to get them some sort of reimbursement for their lodging or something like to that respect.
That's the balloonists themselves that bring their balloons to the festival.
Wow, so they do that with the Albuquerque Balloon Fiesta?
That's our understanding, is there...
Balloonists are reimbursed?
They're paid to attend, most of them, the majority of them
It's
are paid in
impressive.
amount. And they have quite a few demands as far as lodging and what's provided, gasoline and propane when they get here and things like that. So
Wow,
it's a big expense.
I should do something else. I do have a question. When you had mentioned the different festivals that, you started with one that was in mid-September and then October and November. When is the planning for this one? You didn't really say if this was...
And we haven't really, because our folks, our two guides, our counselors are trying to come down, take a look at the area, give us, they're looking at wind conditions, they're looking at all the locations, and then try and, they got all this mapped out, if you can believe that, so we're looking at, certainly after the Albuquerque International Balloon Festival either, and then to closely tie into the Alamogordo one, so if you can, you got a triangle of Albuquerque, Alamogordo, Silver City, Socorro,
And then working with state parks, because City of Roxas State Parks, and then...
That's just our idea,
Because it's kind of cool that because there's an entrance fee to state parks for folks that would be coming to...
Absolutely.
To view it, so... okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, we dream big, but, that's really their call.
Nice pictures. Okay, thank you.
The World Chamber of Commerce membership. What's your value added on that?
Where are you?
Is that page 7?
Good guess. It's under financial, second page back.
The board has brought that up, whether or not we should continue to be a member of that. I think just being a member of the national organization, the world organization, is really important for our chamber. We're still trying to look in to see what advertising benefits we get from that, but it's something that's being scrutinized by the chamber board as well.
I think what we did really, Mr. Mayor, good question on that one, is we've decided that, as I mentioned, we're very close to bringing an executive director on board, and we're going to let the executive director really tell us what's a better value added to such things like this at this time.
Understanding the situation you're in with staffing, do you happen to have any data on what your product is, your return on the Arizona Daily Star?
No, we're still trying to locate those files to see if there's compiled data from that advertising.
Are your ads coded? No.
Excuse me, repeat that?
I was looking at the ads to see if they're coded. in the publication just so that you can track what magazine's producing what.
Since I didn't place those, no, I'm not aware of any coding for tracking.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Oh, hold on.
Of course, it just left my head, but there was a question. Oh, I do have a question. Can you tell me, could you maybe elaborate, if possible, I know your staff situation, but on the information packets that are being sent out, how much of that, that postage might be related to relocation versus actual sending out packets related to tourism?
Maybe
Because we're,
25% on their
In case you didn't hear that, Trent was saying 25% to maybe 33%, somewhere in that range.
is actual relocation versus the tourism?
Probably.
Okay.
Might add that a lot of those people come to Silver City, spend not just a night, but sometimes weeks and months trying to find the right home to relocate, so.
Right, but ultimately what we're doing is tourism and marketing, so, but thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up is Silver City Arts and Cultural District. And when you ask for over half the pot, you're gonna have to come up and talk. And we're gonna think of some questions. Thank you. Any questions? I'm going to start in reverse of where I left off with the chambers. Are you coding your advertising that's done via magazine or web to allow you to produce statistics on those?
It has, as far as I know, it has not been done by my predecessor. I think it's a great idea. Another way that we are looking at some of that, and we have already done that in the end of this fiscal year, was to put unique URLs. We did that for a New Mexico magazine ad. We did it in 2 publications. So rather than drive them to our homepage, we drive them to a landing page where we can create a continuous story off of that advertising and track it via a backdoor to our website. Oftentimes, if we just send them to the home page, we can't distinguish that from every other hit on the home page. So by creating something unique, we have a very sound way of statistically analyzing this.
Which is exactly where my question was going. We have to start developing statistics and the data that shows what works, what doesn't work, what marketing targets work, what marketing targets don't work. You know, there was a marketing campaign some years ago that was targeted Silver City as a retirement community, and we had people calling hoping that we didn't have any kids in town. We might not have known that what ad caused that if we didn't know where we were marketing and targeting. So I think it's very, very important, and everybody that's doing websites, it's coming to a contract near you if you're awarded money that you're going to have to produce every single bit of data that a website can produce so that we can justify what our return is. And understanding failure is fine too. That tells us don't do that again. But we really have to. And we're going to develop a comprehensive database within the town that's going to collect that data. And if we're paying for it, we're going to feel entitled to the data, and we're going to try to develop a very good tool that you can then turn around and use when you're writing proposals to see what's going to work and where you should be targeting and where you can get the biggest bang, not only for your buck and your event, but it supports the town in return. So I think it's a two-way street, and both on the benefit side as well as the demand side. Any other questions?
I have one. So, have you, I think one of the things in the past is that, I know that, I think in the former, or last year's, is that there was going to be meetings with, groups, and partners, in town, and actually in the county that kind of feed into, what you're promoting. And has that continued on? Those sorts of meetings, is that going to continue on? And sort of a segue, that actually the next question that comes with that is do you contact various places that tourists do visit, the museums, other locations, to find out how many visitors they're receiving, to try to compare with the folks that are coming into the visitor center?
Again, I can't speak to, as you know, I'm 4 months in the job as director, so to speak to what has transpired, I'm not in a position to do that. First of all, properly to address you, Mayor and Council, thank you for allowing us to present to you today. So I cannot speak to the past, I can speak to the future, and the future is absolutely yes. One of the things that we have already put into place in this last quarter is a proper infrastructure within the Arts and Cultural District to collect and to analyze empirical data. That is in the form of multiple database systems. It's based on a FileMaker system, and it's going to allow us to in partnership with different events and museums, etc., to work closer with them and to try and create a repository on which we can help to analyze, in conjunction with anybody who's collecting data, a point of comparison, to also look at how do we capacity build for Silver City and Grant County. Ideally, when we look at an annual calendar of events, festivals, and so forth, we can see where we fill heads and beds and where we're deficient in the calendar year, and where we might look at how we do that more effectively across the whole spectrum. So that will require us growing those types of partnerships. And that's what we're all about. We're a collaborative organization, and we will work with anybody willing to work with us. And I will be doing that outreach in the new fiscal year.
Yeah, just to elaborate, I asked the question because I think it's also part of this component, is that if they come into the visitor center, or if they go to the Silver City Museum, and then they're sent on to other attractions in town or in the county, it's nice to know if those, in turn, attractions refer back, so that once we capture them here, are we keeping them here? Whether it's through events that they learn about, or that, oh, by the way, don't forget to go to the catwalk, or by the way, don't forget to go to WNMU Museum, or don't forget to, yeah, of course I had to say it, but don't forget to go to our beautiful downtown, to our galleries, to the Red Dot Galleries, or to the San Vicente Artists, that there's other things coming up, or, I think that part of what we want to do with all the organizations is to ensure that in all the groups that we get larger tax funds, is that we want to make sure that it's not just that one thing or whatever it is, that, this is working for everyone's benefit, that we're bringing them back around, that even if they stay an extra day or half a day, or they come back, which is what we want them to do, that we're all kind of giving them that information, so that if we all can work together, that's part of, it's not just website's part of it, but it's when they get here, what are we doing to ensure that they stay here? So that's the sort of question that ultimately will come back to everyone. So, thank you.
You done?
Yeah.
Anybody else have any questions? I have a question on your partners and your income. Can you explain what that is? You have partners, and you list about 12 different groups or so, and 6 of them then gave you money?
I'm glad that they did.
Donation.
Well, I am too, but let me tell you why I'm asking the question. Members Regional Arts Council, Tour of the Gila, Western Institute of Lifelong Learning, we gave them money, and they in turn gave it to you?
We have a steering committee that has a fee.
So that's
a suggested donation.
Okay.
To as part of it.
Can I add
Go ahead.
something to
Yes,
that?
please.
Absolutely.
Being a nonprofit corporation, and we don't have a membership, so it's a suggested donation to help offset costs. And this is an arts and cultural district partnership, as opposed to tourism. So it's not for marketing; it's for other costs that are non-reimbursable.
So what do you get for that?
What do the other organizations get?
Well, you're with Tour of the Gila, so
Right.
what does Tour of the Gila get for their...
Well, we
their
have collaborative meetings once a month, and we have a group that sits at the table, discusses events and coordinates events, and it's part of that whole situation. Do you want to add to that?
Oh, you're doing great.
So I'm trying to figure out, MRAC gave you $700.
Correct.
What do they get for that, other than participating in those coordinating meetings?
Well, that's not paid for. We should talk to MRAC about what they feel is the benefit to it, but that is distinctly arts and cultural district, as opposed to the tourism component of this. And so arts and cultural district itself is not funded by any other means than that, unless we go out and solicit for grants, which we have done for programming or for economic initiatives like the Clay Arts Trail, or if we received grant funding from New Mexico Arts and Cultural District. But all of those are distinct for arts and cultural programming, which again supports us as an entity outside of tourism for whatever programming we produce. So, for instance, we just initiated a curatorial project. We partnered with Downtown to revitalize the storefronts of the El Sol. And in that, we're bringing in artwork from outside of Silver City. Our first curated show was from Santa Fe, 6 emerging artists, to create connectivity between 2 arts communities. In that particular case, some of our funding to initiatives like that is in part funded from that membership. So they support arts and culture as economic development and as a point of tourism for Silver City. I would say they're doing it on behalf of the community, if nothing else, and what Arts and Cultural District does for this community.
I told you when you asked for over half. We got questions.
I hope that answered the question.
You did. So likewise on your print advertising, do you have any demographics on return other than the visitors?
Specific return on the advertising that we did this past year, I don't think we have exact demographics. I don't know, again, without developing what we just talked about, some means of tracking, which did not exist in this, at this point. I can't say that we do. We do have the visitor center statistics, but to the extent that those validate specifically that a visitor has come because of advertising, we're not that sophisticated yet, but I guarantee we will be.
Well, it's getting easier and easier. Thanks. Any other questions? Councilor Benson.
So on the New Mexico, Silver City's New Mexico True ads, does the Department of Tourism assist with tracking at all?
It's rather interesting. We do an end-of-year report to the Tourism Department on New Mexico True.
Yeah.
Their only metric that I'm aware of at this point is they take the number of ads placed, the dollars that were spent on those ads, and they times it by 3 to tell what the total sum dollar return is for the state of New Mexico. So I'd be happy to tell you what the dollar return is based on their formula, but I'm not sure that that would be any more sophisticated than what we're doing at this point. No offense to the state, we still want the co-op money.
I guess we could ask them.
This won't be on TV.
Oh, good.
Nobody from up here will watch that.
But I do want to say that, in terms of the co-op dollars that we received in the last number of years, I just spoke to the New Mexico State Finance Steering Committee meeting here in Silver City on this in particular. For Silver City to be able to take lodger's tax dollars and co-op dollars 1-to-1, that's if they in the last 2 years where they gave us $40,000 in co-op money and we put up $40,000, the return on that investment is really clear. That's 100% return. That is, we put up $40,000 and they put up $40,000, and right there we've doubled that $40,000 and our reach with our advertising dollars. It's a tremendous program, and we've applied for it again, of course, and we're waiting to hear how that outcome and when that decision is going to be made.
That's still $80,000 of my tax money.
Yes, put to good use. Mayor.
Any other questions? Any questions? Councilor Martin.
This question is mainly due to what the Lodgers Tax Advisory Board was, some of their general comments. Social media. It looks like you have about $12,000 budgeted towards social media, and you have a little detail on where it's going, maintenance, blogging, personalities. Can you describe that and kind of explain to me how that works and how it benefits us?
Certainly. Again, I want to speak to going forward as opposed to what may have been, how that was structured. In terms of going forward, when we develop our advertising, we place print advertising. In large part, it's designed at this point. Our best return for the print advertising specifically is to drive them to the web, where most people are gathering their additional information. And we have a much better chance if we bring them to the website, of course, to inform them and educate them about way more than we can do in one print ad. In that print advertising campaign, we're looking to create a continuity between print, web, and social media, in which case, in all of those venues, each of those campaigns will be reaffirmed through captivating imagery and content. So if we promote, say, the Gila River and fishing in an ad, what we want to develop is that when you land on that unique landing page that might say Silver City is fishing, Silver City is New Mexico true, on that URL we might use something like silvercityisfishing.com. We bring them to a unique landing page. If in the ad perhaps they're fishing, in the second when they land on the landing page, maybe the person's taking a break. In the social media, at that same time we're running those campaigns, perhaps we're showing them cooking the fish or walking away with the cat. So the idea is to create a narrative that crosses all of those media. That's part of the campaign. The other part, of course, is what we know about the social media side of this is that it is very difficult also to track metrics on social media at this point, Facebook and otherwise. We can create fan bases and so forth, but to get the full statistics of how that stuff moves and travels is probably broader than what we're going to be able to gather initially. We will also, one of the things that we do with the social media right now is that we're scanning the web right now for news and information that's being broadcast outside of Silver City about Silver City. So when other bloggers write about us, when other magazines write about us, when things that any of our organizations and events and so forth are marketing in Silver City are picked up on the web by other agencies or news, we're scanning through RSS feeds to then pick that stuff up and reaffirm it on our social media. You'll see that when you go there currently. So that we're then, again, by taking somebody else's story, we're doing them a service, broadcasting something Silver City, and at the same time we're driving goodwill to their websites if they're talking about us. So I hope that's giving some sense of it. The other part of this is on the social media side. One of the things that in surveys, this statistics comes from a presentation at the Governor's Conference on Tourism, is that the number one trusted source for information of the potential traveler is family and friends. And the number one place that family and friends connect today when they're spread out is via Facebook and other social media.
Any other questions? All right, Mitch, it looks like a lot of gelato was closed on April 18th to the 21st. What happened?
I was celebrating my 60th birthday in Chicago.
Happy belated birthday.
Why, thank you. Now, where did you find that?
It's on the Visit Silver City Twitter page.
See, I make excellent use of social media.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up is Silver City Main Street Project. Questions? Anything great? Need a break? Councilor Bedison.
Mr. Mayor, I move for a short break.
Is there a second?
Mr. Mayor, I'll second that.
There's a motion and a second for a short break. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We'll be in recess. this special meeting of the Silver City Town Council back to order. The next proposal is the Silver City Main Street project. Any questions from the council on the Silver City Main Street project proposal?
Yes, sir.
Councilor Bedison, Main Street. Come on up, please.
Mayor and Town Council members, I'm Lucy Whitmarsh, and I'm the president of the board of the Silver City Main Street.
Thank you.
I've got a green light.
Councilor Bedson.
Thank you, Mayor. Lucy, under the proposed budget, you have electronic website and downtown guide for $8,000. Can you give me a breakdown of how much is each one?
Our concept is that we would have a downtown guide that inclusively represented all businesses in the downtown that would like to be represented, and that it would be an electronic version of the downtown guide that would have also a printable format for people that, say, before they were visiting, if they had identified locations and information that they would like to print out, they could do that. But we found that the actual printed downtown guide that we had previously been doing becomes outdated so rapidly. We have, on average, in our downtown business district, a change of at least 2 businesses a month, and it might be that they've moved from one location to another, or it could be that there's a business that has moved out of the area, out of the downtown, because our Main Street is a specific geographic area that just includes the historic downtown business district. And so for those types of changes, if we just had an electronic version of the downtown guide, then that could be updated on a regular basis as things change.
So the $8,000 is for both the website and the downtown guide. So when you say electronic, that means both those. So how much of the $8,000 is for the website, and how much is for the downtown guide, which is also on the website, or is the whole kit and caboodle for the website?
It's primarily updating, because we already have the database established for the downtown guide, but it's the cost of updating. And for our basic website, we do feel that it needs to be more information-based, where we provide more current information about businesses and that type of activity within the historic district. So the whole thing is a website and then the downtown guide tied to the website.
Okay, because last year's cost for the website was $700 and the downtown guide was $6,000. And I guess my question stems from the fact that it doesn't appear that there's a Town of Silver City logo on the website, but we are...
On the homepage.
Okay, I guess I missed it. And trying to find the events and everything, it seemed that somewhat, I guess I'm just trying to figure out how this all kind of meshes so that so you've added the 2 costs together so that it's a total of $8,000 for the website, but the Main Street will be still maintaining the Main Street portions of the website?
Yes. And as far as the information that we need to have updated on a regular basis as far as what is available for people that are coming into town, that's where a lot of the cost is associated, is in with doing the updating.
Okay. And can you explain just elaborate on the liability insurance and its use?
For our major events that we have, like the Lighted Christmas Parade, which is our basically the downtown signature event, we do have to carry liability insurance, and so that is an expense of our events. But when I did the application, I didn't realize that that was not an allowable expense for events, and so that isn't an allowable reimbursable expense for lodger's tax. It's an expense that we're required for events, but it's not a reimbursable expense.
And do you happen to have a breakdown for the costs of the public events? You just have one large total for them? Do you have a breakdown with you, elaboration of the?
The insurance runs.
No, actually, I'm talking about the public downtown events of 20,000. Do you have a breakdown of each event and how the monies are used or proposed to be used?
No, I don't have a specific breakdown.
Okay. And might you have something like that for the print advertising and how it was used in the year before? Or did I miss it?
We did, with our final report for lodger's tax, we did supply that, but it was not supplied in the application. And our major advertising areas that we do are the El Paso, Las Cruces, Deming, Lordsburg, and Tucson areas for advertising, for the print advertising.
And might you have any web analytics or, I noticed that in the application you state that the stats are maintained by the visitor center, but we don't have that information. But do you happen to have that with you about the statistics about how the events are and folks that are coming into town and information like that?
As far as the statistics from the visitor center, they do maintain a log of the people that come into the visitor center, and that's really the only way that we have knowledge of people that have come to the downtown, which includes the visitor center. As far as we're aware, that's the only place that that's being tracked.
So Main Street doesn't have any method by which to get a handle, like either through web analytics or in terms of your web, how many hits are on your website, who's visiting your web traffic, or also who might be coming and participating in your events and staying overnight and things like that?
No, we don't have the statistics. We do have some relatively rudimentary tracking on our website, but it basically just tracks traffic. It's not telling us where it was generated from.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Last year's event expenses were $6,000. This year, you're proposing $20,000. What are we going to see that's different?
We're just trying to expand on the events that we have and make the events that we already have more weekend-oriented so that we get the weekend tourist traffic. And in general, we're promoting the historic district as a unique destination, because if people could find the same thing someplace else, they don't have a reason to come to Silver City. And we think that one of our unique features that we really underutilize is the Big Ditch, which is for downtown, that's underutilized. And we're going into, on July 20th, having the Big Ditch Day, but we've expanded it to be inclusive of a lot of different interests of people that are interested in nature and in hiking, but to try to expand it to attract a broader group of people and get them to recognize that the ditch is here and that it's a resource that we have in the community. And then in September, on the 14th, we're going to capitalize on the wonderful eating establishments that we have in our downtown. And that is also going to be on a Saturday afternoon, which means that visitors would be coming on Friday and then to be able to be here for Saturday afternoon or maybe Saturday morning, and then stay over Saturday night, and so that at least we could get, you know, two nights of visiting. And as far as the restaurants, again, or the restaurants and the eating establishments, they're all have a very characteristic of their own, pretty much all homegrown. And there's also a lot of emphasis on using our local produce and our local things that have been grown locally at the restaurants. So we have quite a bit of tying in the local food culture with our local restaurants and promoting that to the outside community. And then, as I mentioned, our large signature event is the Lighted Christmas Parade. And instead of it being just the people on the street in the evening watching the parade, which is significant in itself, that November 30th date is the Shop Local Day, and it's the beginning of our traditional holiday shopping season. And so we want to make that into like a whole day event to get people downtown before the parade, and then from there then stay for the parade. So it's more just expanding on the events that we already have.
So what are the businesses doing to make that day special?
The businesses have been participating by offering incentives for people to come to their stores, like some kind of a promotion or that kind of, or a coupon or discount coupon that we can pass out when we have people sign up or when people sign in for the event. And then also in decorating and making it, in conjunction with whatever program that we're having. Like for our downtown rodeo days, we encourage the stores to have windows displays that were Western or rodeo related, and also they offered discounts for our people that had tickets to the rodeo, or if they had their rodeo ID that they were in the rodeo, and so the downtown merchants offered discounts to the participants.
So, tell me if this is a typo or I'm not getting it, but on the last page, number 4, it says, "The goal of Main Street is to bring visitors to historic downtown Silver City and promote the downtown lodging, restaurants, and businesses." I did not think that was the goal of the Main Street project.
Could you read it to me again?
The goal of Main Street is to bring visitors to historic downtown Silver City and promote the downtown lodging, restaurants, and businesses. I mean, you do a lot of Main Street in itself, and the infrastructure work that you do and you support is plenty sufficient. But I don't think your goal is to focus on bringing visitors.
Well, specific to the lodger's tax application, that was the goal.
Okay. You referenced that earlier in the proposal that for this application, but then you didn't on that one.
Oh, okay.
So
I guess that, maybe
whoa.
that's...
Any other questions? Thanks, Lucy.
Thank you.
Next up is Tour de Gila. Any questions for the Tour de Gila? Hey, Jack.
Good afternoon.
You ready? Councilor Bedison.
I did, of course. Hi. My question is, now I have to find it, unfortunately. But I think in the summary statement of the, so now I've got to figure out where I actually found it the first time. Let's see, support. Okay, in the summary financials, of the 2013 major expenditures, you have $30,400 for safety and sanitation. And then, in the breakdown, when you do the 2013 lodger's tax expenditures, you have safety and sanitation for $15,055.30. So, the major expenditures that you have broken out there, does that include that 15,000? Or is that, that's in the largest tax money to use, or is that?
15,000 is for 2013.
Okay, in the 2013 financials, in your supporting materials, it's a kind of a summary statement. It's, you have it's the third page in under, supporting materials, under, item 3, financials, and in the middle it says 2015 major expenditures. Safety and sanitation is $30,400.
Correct.
Okay, then if we go to the 2013 lodger's tax expenditures, under that tab,
Got it? Okay.
and we go to the second page, you list safety and sanitation as one of the,
Where's that?
at 15,000 that you paid for. You paid out of the large tax money that was given. So my question is the 30,000, is the 15,000 included in the 30,000?
Yes.
There you go.
15.
Okay, we got it.
Okay, I didn't know if it was an additional 30,000 or if it was
No.
included in it.
It's included within that.
There you go. Okay, you answered my
Thank you, sorry.
I was just trying to figure out if it was $45,000 worth of
No.
safety sanitation, and I thought, wow, okay.
Sanitation is big, but it's not that big.
Well, I just was wondering. Okay. Well, do you have any? I might have after you have some.
Not going to help you on this one.
Okay, well, no, I'm fine.
Anybody have any questions? Thank you.
If we could take a moment, we also would like to thank the diligent work of the Largest Tax Committee. It is a difficult job, so thank you. And for the tremendous support from the town of Silver City for our event. Thank you so much. It was another successful year.
Thank you.
Thanks, Michelle. Thanks, Jack. Next up is members of Regional Arts Council. And I gotta say, Faye, other than doing the one in pink, I can always find it. And yours. Any questions on MRECs?
I have none.
So you're not the RMAC today. I kept calling her RMAC yesterday. Any questions?
No.
Questions? No questions.
Trying to find something to ask her.
Yeah. Anybody want to make a motion to go into executive session? Number 6.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilor Benson.
I move that, I gotta make sure I say this right. I'm sorry, what? Yeah.
The council go into executive.
I move that the council go into executive session pursuant to NMSA 1978, Section 10-15-H. 10-15-1H for the following reasons. 6, that the portion of the meetings at which a decision concerning purchases in an amount exceeding $2,500 that can be made only from one source, and that portion of meetings at which the contents of a competitive sealed proposal is solicited pursuant to the Procurement Code 13-128-28 NMSA 1978 are discussed during the contract negotiation process. The actual approval of purchase of the item or final action regarding the selection of a contractor shall be made in an open meeting.
Is there a second? Second. There's a motion and a second that the council go into executive session pursuant to NMSA 1978 10-15-1H for the following reason. Number 6, that portion of the meeting at which a decision concerning purchase in an amount exceeding $2,500 that can be made only from one source, and that portion of the meeting at which the contents of competitive sealed proposals listed pursuant to the Procurement Code 13-1-28 NMSA 1978 are discussed during the contract negotiations. The actual approval of purchases of the item or final action regarding the selection of a contractor shall be made in an open meeting. Roll call, please.
Aye.
Councilor Cook?
Aye.
Councilor Ray?
Aye.
Councilor Moore?
Aye.
Motion carries. We'll be in executive session after a short break. The council will return out of executive session. Let the record reflect that there was nothing discussed in the executive session that was not included in the motion, and there was no action taken. And we will now return to open session with a vote. We have to do a vote. You want to do a roll call?
Aye.
Councilor Cook?
Aye.
Councilor Ray?
Aye.
Councilor Morones?
Aye.
And the council's back in open session. I will make recommendations, and then I'll entertain a motion. The Southwest Festival of the Written Word, my recommendation is $250. The San Vicente Artists, $3,000. Rolling Stones, $2,500. Silver City Gallery Association, $2,500. The Grant County Chicano Music Project, $500. The Rural Social Work Caucus, $0. Silver City Fiber Arts Fest, $1,500. Fort Bayard Historic Preservation Society, $1,200. The Silver City Farmers Market, $0. The Gila Conservation Coalition, $1,000. The Copper Country Cruisers, $1,500. The Chamber of Commerce, $10,000. The Silver City Arts and Culture District, $100,000. The Silver City Main Street Project, $10,000. The Tour of the Gila, $30,000. Members Regional Arts Council, $30,000. And before I entertain a motion or any further discussion, I want to take some time to thank the advisory committee that pours over. This is a big stack of paperwork that's presented out there, and they take a lot of time, and we're doing this in 3 hours, and it's because of the work that you gave us, and you, once again, you did great work, and we appreciate it. And with that, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor,
Counselor.
I move to approve proposal number 12/13-2P, community promotions per the mayor's recommendation.
Is there a second?
Mr. Mayor, I second that motion.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? There's a motion and a second to award request for proposal 12/13-2P community promotion for the recommendation that I just previously read. Pardon? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And entertain a motion to adjourn.
Mayor, I move to adjourn.
Mr. Mayor, I second the motion stated.
There's a motion, a second to adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We are adjourned.